My first goal was to create a project that lets students see the themes of this book in modern life. For example, people talk about, quote, playing God when they discuss Frankenstein, and that's a phrase that's used today in discussion of the Human Genome Project or cloning. I tried to do this by assigning each group of students to an organization that has interest in these very topics. Then I provided them with links that would direct them to a further understanding of modern perspectives on Shelley's original themes. For each group, I tried to offer at least one video that they could watch, most of which were about 2 to 4 minutes long, and then 3 or 4 links. This is my resources page where I gave each group of students at least one video they could watch about their topic, and then 3 or 4 other links that would direct them to either related organizations, or to scholarly journal articles, or to some resource that would help them really figure out what it is their organization believes when it comes to issues of cloning and genetic engineering. My second major goal was to create a space in which students can debate and discuss these controversial themes and topics. The discussion boards and wiki spaces are so easy to use that that's the main reason I ended up going with wiki spaces. As you can see, this is based on the first day of research. The students have just watched 2 videos about basic background information about cloning and genetic engineering, and they have a series of questions that they have the option to answer. Slightly different from our class, what I'm doing is I post a question in the discussion board and each student responds inside that thread. That way there are threads about specific questions, since kids in the 8th grade need a little more direction than graduate students do. So what led me to choose wiki spaces? First of all, of the sites that I've looked at, it was far and away the easiest to use. Second of all, the navigation bar on the left-hand side is a really important thing for me, and I'll come back to that later. It's a great way for students to collaborate and work together, and as I just mentioned, the discussion space is so simple and straightforward. This navigation bar on the left-hand side is something so small and so simple, but something that I haven't been able to replicate on any of the other sites I've tried. Even on something like Google Sites, which is supposed to be about as easy as web software gets, I couldn't really design the navigation bar the way I wanted to. And with wiki spaces, it's just so simple, and the site really does it all for you. That navigation bar was very important to me, and so that's why I ended up going with wiki spaces. Also, I knew the collaboration piece was going to be important in this project, since students are working in groups, and each group ends up working together with the ultimate goal of creating international legislation about cloning and genetic engineering. I needed there to be an easy way for students to post their ideas to their group members, and also an easy way for each group to post their information for the rest of the class to see. So as you can see on this page, students were supposed to do a brief introduction to their organization, just write a short paragraph, and then do a presentation using Photo Story, which is what I'm using now. Then they were to post their photo story up in this very space. It says put your presentation here, so that the other groups would have an understanding of the organizations that they're dealing with. Obviously this is still a work in progress because I still have about 9 days to get this project done. And the best way to describe what I'm doing next is to come back to this navigation bar that I love so much. You can see that the last page I designed is called Symposium Day 1 Introductions. My plan is to have about 5 days of this symposium, and each day will be a class period in which the students will have a different objective in mind. Day 1 was introductions. Symposium Day 2 is going to be about statements of interest, where each group explains what it is they hope to get out of the symposium. Day 3 is negotiations. That's where the lawyers from each group, the lawyer is one of the roles in each group, the lawyers are going to get together and try to kind of hash out what it is they can and can't do without when it comes to creating legislation. Then Day 4 is going to be a continuation of the negotiations with proposals made to me. I don't know, the president of the world in this scenario, I guess. And then Day 5 will be for reflection. So thanks for listening, and good luck with all your projects.